look. Pop it in there. Right. Bloody hell, have we done this first time? Bloody hell. Right, let's have a look. Reload the page, reload the page. Right, this is going to be an exciting reading. Yes, we're live. Right, let's have a look. Good. Can we hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Testing, testing. Yep, you can hear me. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so this live stream video is to help you to gauge or to inspire you to remember where your soul, your galactic soul, comes from. Because my personal belief is that the majority of spirits, or majority of people and souls, they come from various different places in the universe. And that is the interesting thing. So today in this video, I will be looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the most popular star races or galactic races, although there is a vast number of them. So we will take a look at some of the other ones in other videos, but for this video, this live stream, I want to help the starseeds who are here and who have these lineages, starseed lineages. So I'm going to be looking at Andromedans, Pleiadians, short greys, Sirians, so Sirius A and B, Venusians, Lyrans, Martians, Arcturians. So these are the races. So if you think you may be one of these races, stick around, and I will be pulling a few cards and I will be giving little bits of information, some bits of information which is channeled, some bits of information from personal experience, and I will be pulling a few cards, so if any new information comes through, I will share it with yourselves. Okay, so let's see how we're doing. Okay, so this video is for the starseeds. So let me show you the first. So this is from the Mystic Martian Oracle. This is an image of an Arcturian. So Arcturians, this is one person's, or what do you call them, an illustrator's depiction of what an Arcturian looks like. Although if you show up, if you're doing meditation and your spirit guide shows up to you and says, hey, I'm an Arcturian, but they don't look like that, then it's fine, because this is just, it's something to go off of, but it doesn't mean that every Arcturian in the universe is going to look like this image. Okay, so let's start with, let's have a look. So with the Arcturians, so the interesting things that I've found out about the Arcturians is the Arcturians are kind of like grid workers, but they work around the universe, the different planets. So on planet Earth, we have ley lines, we have places of power, so sacred places, very powerful places. And it's funny because UFO activity happens a lot around these places of power. So places like the pyramids, places like the pyramid over in Mexico. So there's lots of these old and powerful places where the energy is phenomenal, and these are places where the Arcturians will visit, and they make sure that the flow of energy is correct there, and that the flow is going well. So Arcturians, they're galactic grid keepers, they're bridge anchors, so they kind of act as teachers and as a bridge to the different races and across from place to place. So they they're very wise, and they act as like teachers to people from other star systems. So it's not surprising if a guide comes through for you and they're teaching you something new, or they divulging galactic knowledge, as this is very it's very it's very typical of an Arcturian. That was the word that I was looking for. So Arcturians are very typical when it comes to sharing knowledge and passing information on. Okay. So Arcturians are teachers, they're healers, they have a knack for fixing things, and they are knowledge sharers. So that's what I was saying. So I'll show you what the name of the word looks like. So Arcturians. This is one of the star seeds. Okay. I've just realised that I kind of did this a bit wrong. I was meant to show you all crystals first, so you could choose a crystal. But anyhow, so this is the crystal which I've chosen to represent the Arcturians. So if you're resonating with this message, or if you're resonating with this crystal, then it may be that you're an Arcturian starseed or star blossom. Okay. So that is Kundalini citrine. Okay, so the next gemstone I have here, if this gemstone's calling out to you, have a feel, kind of gaze at the gemstone, send out your psychic feelers, so kind of just send a little bit of your psychic energy, open your third eye, kind of look at the gemstone within your own mind, if that makes sense. But yeah, just see if this gemstone's resonating with you, if it's calling to you. If so, then you may be a Martian starseed. Okay, so I'll show you the name of that. So Martian, so the Martians, many people have heard that because we hear stories about little green men and and stuff like that. So it's like a popular theory in pop culture, little green men who come from Mars and stuff like that. But Martians, like when we're talking about the Galactics and we're talking about our star family, they're not going to be like what is stereotypical necessarily. So if you are a Martian starseed, take a bit of time to work with them in meditation and kind of ask for their guidance and their knowledge to come through to you. Okay, so let me read a little bit what I've written down about the Martians. So for the Martian starseeds, they are strength infusers. So they pour their strength into things. They're warriors, they're protectors, they're fighters and strategists, they're actionists. So if you have a group of people together, there'll be one person in that group who's kind of not necessarily the ringleader, but the one who gets shit done, the one who is the actioner, and they're kind of the driving force of the whole group. So they're very disciplined, they have lots of resolve and resilience. So they're the type of person who could withstand one of the crazy boot camps that you see on TV. Okay, so that is Martian starseeds. So let me show you what is next. So the next gemstone that I have is lapis lazuli. So if this gemstone's calling to you, have a feel of the stone, kind of look at it with your third eye, look at it in your mind's eye. Is this gemstone calling with you? Do you resonate with it? Do you like the colour? If so, then you may be a Lyran starseed. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about the Lyrans. So this is an image from the Mystic Martian Oracle. This is a drawing or illustration of what a Lyran is envisioned to look like. Okay, and this is how you spell the name Lyran. So Lyrans, they're one of the oldest races in the universe, or certainly at least in our solar system. They're one of the oldest they are literally the original humanoid race. So they literally have seeded the human race. So on the card it says their message is strength, courage, and bravery. So it's similar to what you'd expect for the Martians. So it would be interesting to know if the Lyrans and the Martians worked together. Okay, but let's have a look. So Lyrans, what did I write down about the Lyrans? So I've wrote the Lyrans, they're alchemists, they're leaders and role models and old souls. The Lyrans, they have a pack mentality, so it's not all about me. It's more of we. So like what can we do for the collective? How do we all get through this shizzle together? How do we do this together? And it's team working and probably a lot of delegating as well. So delegating tasks to the people who are underneath or other people in your team or pack. So the Lyrans, they have a bit of a wild heart. They're very passionate, fiery, artistic, and they're able to balance their wild heart and their like wild passion. They balance it with a lot of self-control, and they're aware of their strengths, weaknesses, and limits, and as any good leader would be. So this is a Lyran. So also Lyrans, one of the things which is on the, I want to say, collective soul contract for the Lyrans, it is they've been tasked with transmuting. So that is where the alchemist, the fact that they're in Lyrans are alchemists, because we have to transmute like darkness or negative energy. So we transmute negative energy into something positive, and that is a task for Lyrans. So Lyrans, they are always cat-like people. So they may be lions, they may be leopards, but always they can either be actual fully feline beings, or they may be humanoid feline beings. Okay, so that is Lyrans. Let's move on to the Pleiadians. Okay, so if you have a look at this gemstone, so this is Auralite. If this Auralite is calling out to you, and it just may be that you may be a Pleiadian starseed, because these gemstones, they've been picked intuitively. So if you look in your mind's eye, does the gemstone call to you? Do you feel any sensations, any pulses? So have a think about that. So if this gemstone is calling to you, then it may be that you are a Pleiadian starseed. Okay, So I'll show you the image from the Mystic Martian Oracles. So that is an image of a Pleiadian. Okay, so Pleiadians, they're often shown as blonde hair, blue eyes, kind of very Aryan looking. And when I say Aryan, I don't mean like Aries, I mean like the Aryan race. Okay, so let me read you what it says, what I've written about the Pleiadians. So the Pleiadians, they work with light and frequency to move things into their proper places. They're harmonizers and healers. So if you feel drawn to work with energy, if you feel drawn to be a healer, so when I say a healer, I call myself a healer, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I have this almighty gift to cure all illnesses, or it doesn't mean that I'm this super all-powerful being or anything. A healer is just a person who awakens healing in someone else, or they unlock the gift for someone else to heal themselves. So that is what a healer is. So the Pleiadians. That was the Pleiadians. Okay. Auralite gemstone. Now let's have a look at the Andromedans. So the next card we have here. Actually, let me show you the gemstone. I keep forgetting about the gemstone. So here we have some selenite. So if this selenite is drawing your eye, if you look at it in your mind's eye, if you're feeling any connection, if you're feeling any certain way, if you have a gut instinct that you'd like to pick this crystal, then it just may be that you may be a Andromedan starseed. Okay. And this is a illustration from the Mystic Martian Oracle. This is a picture of a Andromedan. Okay, so let me read a bit about what have I written down about the Andromedans. So I've wrote the Andromedans, they're explorers, they're free thinkers. They have lots of knowledge about medicine and technology. So they have natural gifts, and they use technology with great ease. So they're way more advanced than humans are with technology. So that is the Andromedans. Okay, so let's next have a look at the short greys. All right. Okay. So here we have some kiwi jasper. So if this gemstone is calling out to you, if you feel a certain way about it, if you get the gut instinct that you'd like to pick this gemstone over the others, then it may be that you're a short grey starseed. So you may have a parallel life as one of these beings, or you may have a past life. Okay, so next I'll show you the card. This is the card from the Mystic Martian Oracle, and this is the name written down, short greys. Okay, so let me read what I've put down about them. So I've wrote, they like to watch and observe and they kind of feel like they have they're very moral. They feel like they have to make things right. So if there's any other galactic races who are kind of doing bad things, or if they're buggering stuff up, if they're tampering with humanity, then the greys, they like to come in to even the playing field, so to speak. So they share knowledge and they like to repair any damage which has been done. So that is the short greys. Okay, so let's have a look at the Venusians next. So here we have, this is rose quartz. So if this rose quartz is drawing your eye, if you feel a strong connection to this crystal, then it may be that you just may be a Venusian starseed. So the Venusians, they come from the planet Venus. So that is quite close in our star system. So there's a bit of information here. This is information about the planet Venus. So it says, Venus rules all kinds of partnerships, harmony, and beauty. She is not the goddess to ask for help if you're wishing for someone else to fall in love with you. If you want love, be lovable, it says. So Venus is also associated with money and resources, fertility or pregnancy, domestic bliss, the enjoyment of sensuality, abundance, and good things in life. So it says, by drawing this card, you're invited to use the energies of Venus when practicing magic for love, friendship, marriage, and relationships, for beauty and harmony, and for creativity and artistic endeavours. So these are all things which are connecting with the Venusians. So marriage, friendship, love, relationships. So the superpower of the Venusians, they're the lovers of the galactic world. So they infuse love wherever they go. They inspire people with their beauty and their gracefulness. So that is the Venusians. So I'll show you a picture of the Venusians. So this, again, is from the Mystic Martian Oracle, the Venusians. Okay. Okay, so that is Venusian. So the message on here, it says, romance, soulmates, and empathy. So these are all things that the Venusians teach us about. Okay, so next, let's have a look at this gemstone. So here we have a piece of carite. So if this gemstone's calling to you, have a think. So have a think about it. Sit with your hand over your heart. Maybe close your eyes or leave them open if you like, but just try to envision this crystal in your mind's eye. Does this crystal call to you more than the other crystals? Or maybe does this crystal call to you equally, in an equal amount to one of the other crystals? Because it is possible for you to be a starseed from more than one place, because of course we reincarnate and we have lifetimes in multiple different places. So that, if that crystal is calling to you, then it just may be that you may be a Syrian starseed. So the Syrians come in two types. There's A and B. So these are the illustrations for the Sirius A beans and Sirius B beans. Okay, so I'll read you what I've written down about the Syrians. So I've written, the Syrians are all about art. They're very artistic. They have very strong integrity, honesty, and responsibility, and they teach us all about growing up. So this is a message from them. So next, I want to pull a card for each of those races that I've mentioned. So I think I've covered all of those races now. So let's just pull a card for each of the galactic races. Okay, so this is for the Lyrans. Persephone, rebirth. So I feel like the Lyrans, I feel like we're kind of coming full circle. And it's just like the wheel is coming round again. There's quite a lot of Lyrans popping up all over the place, and I feel like this may be what this is signaling. So Persephone, she's in this card, she's a deity that is the queen of the dead. She's the bride of Hades, but her message is rebirth. So when there's a drastic sudden change or a death of something, then a rebirth always follows, and this is what Persephone's message is to us. Okay, so let me pull a card for the Andromedans. Oh, that's interesting. So the next one we have is actually Hades. So for the Andromedans, there's again a message of death. So this is not like a death in the literal sense. So the Hades and Persephone are talking to us about changes. So the death of a thing and bringing about changes in that, much needed changes in our life. So that Hades and his message of change, that is for the Andromedans. Okay, so next, a card for the Pleiadians. We have Dionysus. Dionysus is teaching us about freedom and letting your hair down. And the Pleiadians usually have great hair, to be fair. So that is a message from Dionysus, freedom. Maybe meditate on him if you'd like a bit more guidance. And this card is for the short greys. So we have Cronus, cycles again. Gosh, there's quite a lot of emphasis on changes and things coming around. So Cronus is cycles. So Cronus's big issue was that he didn't want to be replaced. So he'd rather eat his own children than let his children grow up strong enough to dethrone him and take his place and his power. So he was afraid of that, but so he literally ate all of his children but one child, Zeus, who was hidden, and it turns out that the prophecy was correct. Zeus did overthrow him and became king on Olympus. Right, so the next card we have is for the Syrians, Hebe. Okay, so Syrians, don't be so serious. The deity Hebe, she wants you to have a bit of playtime. So get in contact with your inner child, okay? That is what Hebe is asking. Okay, so let's pull another card for, this one's for the Venusians. Oh, interesting. So we have the Cronus card again. So cycles. So I'm sure you probably just heard what I said about that card. So with cycles, it's about there's that fear of like something that's so important or so scary, that massive fear in the back of your mind, but you do literally anything to keep that fear at bay and to keep that eventuality from ever happening. And that when you're in that mindset, you can be quite ruthless. So I'd just watch that if I were you. Okay, so next I'm going to pull one of these cards for the Lyrans. No kidding. So we have Hecate. So Lyran's out there, goddess Hecate. So Hecate is telling you to get in tune with your magical self. So Hecate is such an old deity, so it's no surprise that she is connecting with the Lyrans and gifting her magic. So the message of this particular card is the crossroads. So it may be that if you go to a crossroads, you may be able to tune into that ancient energy that is kind of needed to give you a bit of remembrance and to tune into your Lyran self and your Lyran star family. So maybe take a trip to a crossroads, see what insights come through. All right, so next I'm going to pull another card for the Martians. Okay, Martians, what card do you want? We've got Zeus, divine expansion. So literally what we was just talking about, so divine expansion, that is when Zeus is overthrowing his tyrant father. So it's the message here is just overcoming that which had previously seemed like impossible to overthrow, and becoming who you was destined to be. So yes, that's a powerful message for the Martians there. Reach your full potential. And for the Arcturians, we have Hermes travel. So it's not surprising really that they should have this card, because the Arcturians, they do like to travel around a lot, because they're traveling across the different grids, and they're making sure that the energy is flowing in the correct places. And it's all about keeping the equilibrium and the balance and harmony of the universe. Just this universal energy, it does flow, and the Arcturians, they do their best to keep it flowing correctly. Okay, so that is the message for the Arcturians. Travel. So if you are connecting with the message of the Arcturians, maybe travel to a place of power. So if you are able to get to like one of the big energy centers of the world, so that would be some place like Stonehenge or the pyramids, then if you're able to do that, go ahead, do it. Connect with the energy, work your energy healing, your earth healing, to assist the earth and to assist the universe, essentially, because all of these places and energy centers, they're all connected together. So once you do some work on one power spot or energy center, then all of the other energy centers, they're all connected, so they'll receive like that energy as well. So everything's connected. That's the important message. Okay. All right. Now I'm just going to pull a couple of cards for the Starseeds. So pull you a tarot card. So this is for whoever's watching these tarot cards. So no matter what galactic race you are, I'm going to pull a message that's appropriate for you. Ace of Wands. So wands in a reading, they represent one of the fire signs. So that's Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. So Ace of Wands, I want to say new beginnings. So yeah, it's all about flourishing things, and things manifesting and flourishing in a new way. So that is a very positive sign. Okay, so let's pull another card. Queen of Wands. Wow, gosh, this is a lot of wands. Right, so the Queen of Wands, I'll show you that card. So the Queen of Wands, she represents the zodiac sign of Leo, actually. So if there's a Leo who's watching, or someone who has Leo in one of their placements, then I believe this may be a strong message for you. And again, in this card, you can see that there's the lion energy there, because there's the black cat and then there's the lions as well. So there's lots of lion energy around this card as well. So I feel like this may be, it may be more clarification for someone who's watching, who may be thinking, am I a lion? Is it true? So I feel like this is some more clarification there. And the Queen of Wands, she's very intuitive as well. So if this card is speaking to you, then it may be that you're in tune with your intuition as well. Okay. Let's pull one more card from the tarot. So we have 9 cups. 9 cups. So cups in a reading, especially if there's a lot of cups in a reading, it will represent feelings and emotions. So so I feel like this card is showing that there's emotions may have been running high at some point, but the card is showing that you're kind of feeling like you're in a better place and things are coming more stable, and you've kind of have managed to get to a place where your mind isn't just in your emotions are not just running amok. But with those cups, you have a lot of blessings that are just sat there, and they're blessings that you have rightfully won. So yeah, that's a lot of good things behind you. Okay, so I'm going to pull one more tarot card. What other messages have you got for us, tarot, for our beautiful star seeds who are watching? Right, so we have 2 of Swords. Interesting. So swords in a reading represent the air signs. So let me see if I can remember those. So air is Gemini, I believe. Aquarius. Gemini, Aquarius. What's the other one? Is it Libra? Libra, I believe. So Gemini, Aquarius, Libra. So this 2 swords in a reading. So swords can represent some form of maybe some form of a battle, obviously. But it shows like 2 opposing forces. So so yeah, it's showing there's a need for finding balance. Bring things into balance and things will get better. That's the message that I get from that. But I'm going to leave that there because it is crazy o'clock. So thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see you all soon. Brightest blessings.